How's it going, Yankee fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Ryan Garcia, and the Yankees have won 2 consecutive games. I feel like we just won the lottery, my friends. I mean, freaking Marwin Gonzalez and IKF hit home runs today. I should have bet the house. I should have bet the farm on FanDuel or something that these guys were going to hit. Like, I swear to God, you have a better luck of getting hit by lightning, struck by lightning 3 times in consecutive days than Marwin Gonzalez and IKF hitting home runs in the same game. But shout out to them because we have been going through a severe home run drought. And Judge obviously gets us on the board early in the game, thanks to a Josh Donaldson, I guess not really thanks to Josh Donaldson, guy freaking walks around first base thinking he hit a home run and then it hits off the wall and he gets thrown out at second base. You get benched for shit like that, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, you get benched for not hustling. Like, are you really pimping a freaking fly ball that didn't leave the state? You run your ass off, man. He's a veteran. He's got to set the tone for this team. He's got to hustle and he's jogging around first base and then gets gunned out at second. Unbelievable there. But Judge ends up scoring, so a good run production in the first inning to get some runs on the board. Definitely an interesting game. One that I didn't necessarily think the Yankees were just going to pull away with at the end. I thought the Twins were going to make a comeback. They did. Gary Sanchez hit a 473-foot homer, which was a bit unexpected, but I guess expected at the same time. He definitely wanted to shoot us in the foot there. But, Ryan, what are your thoughts about today's game? We're going to dive into a problem in left field that is brewing with Tim LaCastro and Aaron Hicks now our starters there. So that's a bit of a concerning situation for me.
Yeah. So I guess the concern is also the Yankees have shown that left field, they treat we may think of left field and right field as the same position. You just kind of flip guys around, but the Yankees, and rightfully so, they don't think that. They believe left field is a drastically different position the Yankees say in the right field. There's a lot more space in left field. Right field's a lot smaller, right? You can kind of put guys out there who aren't typically outfielders in right field. Carpenter, that's the first guy I think of. Stanton doesn't play left field anymore, he plays right field. So the Yankees need to figure out who's their left fielder, right? Because their options are, they've shown LaCastro they're comfortable putting out there. They are not going to put Cabrera out there. I think they'll keep him in right field if they do play in the outfield. They're not, I don't know if they're probably not putting Judge out there, and he's never played left field, right? Do they put Bader out there? That might be, something they might do, but who's the Yankees left fielder, right? I guess that's really the question we have to ask ourselves. It's a tough question because, you would imagine they would try to maybe play Florial more, but he didn't even start today against the righty on the mound. So I don't think they're very keen on giving Florial reps down the stretch in left field. It's difficult, right? I know that Benintendi, in the grand scheme of things, isn't the best player on the team or the second best position player on the Yankees, but damn it, he played a position that the Yankees, know is a trickier spot in the outfield. They felt comfortable with Benintendi out there, and they don't really feel that level of comfort with a lot of guys. And it's not like there's hey, call up one of the kids. What kid are you calling up from AAA that's going to play left field for you? Those outfielders aren't at the AAA level. They're still, Pereira, Dunham, Wells is supposed to be a guy who could play some outfield if he doesn't stick at catcher. Those guys are all still in AA, and you're not going to have them come up and try to help you in a pennant race. I completely understand that. But it's going to be tough to figure out this outfield. Even if you do get Benintendi back before the season ends, which, would be ideal, of course, what can he really provide you, right? We've seen how wrist injuries can zap power. I'm not even talking, we know Aaron Hicks' situation, but going back to guys like Mark Teixeira, right? These guys were not the same for a while after those wrist injuries. So a little concerned about how Benintendi would look after it. He mentioned he's had an injury like that. I believe he said his college freshman season. But again, it's what do the Yankees really do in left field? Do they put Bader in there? I think that's really the best solution. But I'm not in the Yankees internal, what do they feel about Bader's range in left field, right? But I imagine if they're comfortable putting him in center field, putting him in left field wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It just feels like a waste of his tools. But you're not going to stick Judge out there. They haven't shown any willingness to put Judge out there. And we've seen with Gallo, right? Just because you can play a really good right field does not mean you can play Yankee Stadium left field, right? So, be careful what you ask for if you want Judge out there. I think they'll take the risk with Bader, who's, I think what makes his defense so good is his range, whereas Judge, it's much more so the stature, the arm, the jumps he can make, the vertical kind of aspect to his defensive game, where I think of Bader as more of a guy who just covers a lot of ground. So maybe left field's a little bit more of a desirable place for him. And also his arm isn't the best in the world. It isn't bad. It just isn't Judge level. So perhaps playing left field's a little more beneficial for him. We'll see. Right field's going to be tricky too, because we just saw Stanton go down. I don't think he's going to have an IL stint because the x-rays came back negative, but who's playing right field for you, right? Is it going to be Cabrera? Will it be Carpenter? Who will it be? So outfield's definitely a little bit tricky right now. Hopefully, Bader helps solve some of those issues. But the Yankees suddenly go from a team that had too many outfielders to a team that has severely lacking outfielders.
Yeah, I mean, look at Stanton. He came up limping or like hobbling after that swing today. That Achilles problem is still bothering him. It is quite obvious. I doubt he plays tomorrow. So that's a little bit concerning in my opinion. I don't think we're going to see him play any defense anytime soon. Probably not the rest of the year, to be quite honest with you. Harrison Bader probably. Okay, so here's a theory that I want to get your opinion on. The Yankees can't use Aaron Hicks, right? Aaron Hicks is essentially being supplanted by Tim LaCastro right now, right? If they felt confident in him, he would be playing today. Instead, he's hit 100 with a 182 OBP and a 100 slugging percentage in 10 at-bats to start September. He has 1 hit and 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. He essentially offered you nothing against the Rays, right? In August, he hit 137 with a 22.4% on base rate, 137 slugging. He had 7 hits and 15 strikeouts over 51 at bats. He was essentially useless. He is probably on the worst streak of his career at this point in time. He is no longer needed on this team unless he's making coffee for everybody else, because you put him in left field. He's a decent fielder. He can make some plays. At times he has flashy moments, but offensively he offers you nothing. So Ryan, what is there a chance here that Aaron Judge ends up going back to right field? Now, Harrison Bader, they're saying September 13th is the rehab return date. That's where they think he's going to start his rehab assignments at the minor league level. He'll probably play 3-4 minor league games, get elevated maybe the last week and a half for September. Hopefully that's what our goal is. Maybe the last 10 days of September, he gets some major league action, just starts to see the ball a little bit better. Again, he's like a 30% on base guy this year, so he's not like he's getting on base that much. But you're looking at, let's say, Harrison Bader in center, because that range obviously is undeniable. Judge in right field. Is there a chance you ask Cabrera to see what he can do in left field? Because, you saw that arm today. Hell of an arm that kid has. He gunned out Celestino at second base, and he was moving, man. He was moving, and that throw was on a dime. He's got the athleticism for it. He's got decent range. He's turned into a pretty serviceable outfield. He's probably a 7 defensive run saved above average after that throw, to be honest with you. So he's definitely looking very, very good. Now, obviously, right field is a little bit easier than the other 2 positions, but is there a chance the Yankees say, you know what? I don't trust Hicks. I don't really trust LaCastro. Cabrera's getting some good hacks. He's had some really good at-bats, especially against Tampa. Didn't ultimately result in hits every time, but he worked some walks. He had a really nice sac fly to drive in Judge yesterday. What's the probability here that maybe Cabrera plays in left field?
I don't know how they view him range wise, because I think it's more of a range issue at this point with left field, where it's like, this is a guy who's never really played the outfield much. Let's throw him out in left field. I don't think they would be opposed to it just because he's young. He's got, he can move around a little bit. But ultimately it's like, I think the Yankees are just going to have it's like a tryout in left field at this point. They just need whoever's hot to play the position. If Aaron Hicks gets hot, maybe he plays, but I mean, like you mentioned, they played LaCastro over him against a righty on the mound. Chris Archer, righty, like guy who walks people too. Like that's right up Hicks's alley, right? You put a lefty up there who can take pitches, who isn't gonna, get overpowered by 93, and they don't even play him. Like they've benched him. He's been benched. He's not playing anymore. I would like to see them try to put Florial there instead of LaCastro. I just don't see any upside in LaCastro as an everyday major league player. I think he's a phenomenal base runner and phenomenal pinch runner, and that's why I really like LaCastro, but he's not a major league, he's not a regular everyday player. You don't want him getting at bats. Whereas I see a guy like, Florial, and if he somehow manages to get hot, which no Yankee has figured out, he could run into some, right? That's what the kind of Yankees are kind of looking for right now. Can certain guys just run into something, right? Because they just could not. I mean, today they've got, they look pretty good offensively, but for the most part, man, they cannot score, dude. They just can't. If it's not Aaron Judge, they're not scoring. And you can't win baseball games like that consistently in the playoffs. You need to get production from a lot of guys in your lineup. I don't like that they're bringing up kids, and they're not letting them play, because I think it hurts Florial and especially Peraza to come up and not play, just keep them in AAA, right? Let them at least get at bat somewhere. But if we're talking about left field, if you want to say highest upside, right, the move that might work out the best for you, I think Cabrera and Florial, like your number 1 and 2 guys, in terms of like the guys that you're like, they're veterans, I guess. It's LaCastro and Hicks, but Cabrera's, it's tough because, like you mentioned, that arm, man. I mean, he's just dynamic, right? He just makes plays. Like if he doesn't throw out Celestino, who knows how that inning goes? Because Tyrone just got out of that jam without giving up more than 2 runs. God knows how that inning goes. You don't have to go into it with the bullpen. It would be it would be hard to imagine what the Yankees are doing defensively without Cabrera there. So maybe they try putting Cabrera left field, but I still think the move might have to be Bader in left field just because you just like Cabrera in right field and Judge in center. Who knows though?
Yeah, it's a big question, man. Cabrera, I'd be willing to give him an opportunity simply because he's healthy. He's young, as you mentioned. He can move. He's got a good arm. And I feel as though he's probably the better option over Hicks and LeCastro in the lineup, especially when Hader comes back, or Bader rather. So we still have about like 2 weeks before Bader actually realistically can make a return, probably a little bit more than that. No, probably about 2 weeks, probably 6 days after that September 13th day. They said they could expedite that if he does look good. He was ramping up fully today, so that's a really good sign for him. But Stanton, man, that injury, I think it's back. Like, he did not look good. He is off balance. He does not look like he's swinging the bat well. They got to shut him down until the last week of September, in my opinion. He's an automatic out right now. Like, straight up, he does not look good. He can't hit the ball. He's not contributing anything defensively. The problem is, like, he is better than most of the options you have that you DH. You know what I mean? Like, who are you DHing if you're not using Stanton? Are you using Marwin Gonzalez? Are you DHing Peraza? You DHing, I don't know. I mean, at this point, Peraza might actually make contact. So maybe you give him reps as a batter at the very least. This is a weird situation the Yankees have to figure out right now. I don't know. Do you think if Stanton's injured again, who fills that DH spot? Because he's not even batting cleanup anymore. They're putting Josh Donaldson there, and that guy for sure isn't hitting any homers. I mean, he tried to pimp one today and freaking didn't even make it out.
Yeah, well, first off, I thought he should have been benched after that. I think Josh Donaldson is not only playing bad, he's embarrassing right now. He's talking shit to other teams, stirring shit while he sucks, and he's flipping the bat when you're not even hitting a home run. Like, I like flair, I like flipping bats, I like all that stuff. I also like not getting thrown out at second base. So figure that out, buddy. But for DH, it's tough. They just don't have guys who can hit. Like, if you, I know I mentioned like before, it's like, whoa, we scored 5 runs, right? But like, dude, if you take Judge out of this lineup, the Yankees, it's a 2-2 game. God knows how this game ends in extra innings. God knows what the Yankees do in extra innings. They are horrible with the, runner on second rule. They're terrible in those games this year. God knows how that ends, right? The Yankees are very much the Aaron Judge show. Aaron Judge is the guy. It's the Aaron Judge in the pitching show. Aaron Judge hits, the pitching hopefully pitches and doesn't get more than 2 runs. Aaron Judge hopefully puts a ball in the seats, and hopefully that ball is put in the seats with a runner on. And that's your ball game. If Aaron Judge doesn't put a ball in the seats, the Yankees won't win the baseball game, or the Yankees won't hit home runs. But Marwin Gonzalez and IKF showed up today, which is fun, because we need it. We need everything we can get. I don't care how we get our offense. We just need it. I think they can keep mixing up things. You probably are going to see Donaldson DH. He's been playing some really bad defense lately, so they might want to give him some time off there. DJ at third. You want to put Peraza at short or second, whatever you want to do. I know Donaldson, apparently he was supposed to hit the paternity list like during the Tampa series. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he just doesn't need to hit the paternity list, but I would imagine he does. I mean, if your wife is having birth, you need to hit the paternity list. You don't just it doesn't happen in like one night that you I don't know. I don't know what Donaldson's situation is right now. Like, I legit have no idea if he's going to even hit the paternity list. But if he doesn't, he'll probably DH. If he does, God knows who's DHing. You probably at that point have to go DH. Freaking, I don't even know. Do you DH Glaber? I don't. They just don't have an option, right?
You probably put Peraza. You probably put Peraza at second base, and then DH Glaber. I guess that's your best. Look, this is their only options either are bad right now or they're young. So it's like you pick your poison. Do you want inexperience or do you want struggling and experience? It's like, for goodness sake, we're really, really trying to win a World Series here, and we can't even figure out who's playing left field on a daily basis with Benintendi going down. This is really bad, guys. I mean, we're getting Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino. I don't even think Matt Carpenter is going to make it back until maybe the postseason. He's still in a walking boot. You're getting Bader back. Who else? Benintendi's probably out until the postseason. It's tough. This is a situation where the Yankees have to catch some breaks with these injuries. They need some of these guys to return a little bit earlier than expected. And it's only getting worse. August was supposed to be that get healthy month, that get right month, and it turned into an absolute freaking bloodbath. It turned into like a Game of Thrones episode, and we were the guys on the bad side. So, this is the reality you're facing.
Yeah, you mentioned it, dude. This is supposed to be a get healthy month, man. I remember this is supposed to be the month where we get healthy, and we're getting destroyed with injuries. Now, granted, we were very healthy in the beginning of the season, so it was kind of inevitable, but it's like the entire lineup is just gone. Like either gone or the guys who are back are not the same. Like I'm really not happy with the fact that LeMahieu is not like LeMahieu was such an important part of this team. Without DJ LeMahieu hitting the way DJ LeMahieu is going to hit, I have no idea who's leading off for this team. And Benintendi's gone. Who's going to lead off for these guys? But I guess that's kind of, I guess those are like external things that are not external. Those are things that down the road we hope figure itself out. We just kind of hope that things fall into place. I would like to see Cabrera and Peraza start to heat up a little bit. That would really help if one of those two could start hitting, because we just need offense, man. We need it where you can get it. And we don't have anything outside of Judge that's remotely resembling any type of offense. So, that's really all it boils down to. You need someone to start hitting that isn't named Aaron Judge, because no one is hitting. And I don't even mean to exaggerate. I think we could, like, no one, not a single soul on the team is hitting that isn't named Aaron Judge. No one. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen the entire team forget how to hit after getting off to an incredible start offensively. Like, they were on pace once the month of July ended, they were going to finish with like the third or fourth best team WRC plus in the modern era. And now they're like fifth or sixth in all of Major League Baseball. Like, hopefully that figures itself out. But I have so many concerns about how they're going to be putting guys in different positions. But we'll have to wait and see, man. People keep dropping like flies.
Yeah, man, it's not battle of the bastards, battle of the bombers right now. And like you said, Judge, man, I mean, I've never seen a better carry job in my life. This guy has the Yankees strapped to his freaking back, and he's climbing Mount Everest with them. Like, the pitching has contributed, yes, but we're talking about a guy that is literally the entire offense. They have to bat him leadoff just so they can get pitchers to pitch to him. Like, think about that really quickly. They can't even put him behind guys anymore, because they're like, all right, if there's someone on first base, we'll just freaking walk him, and then we'll get a double play from Donaldson. We'll get a strikeout from We'll get a strikeout from Stanton. It's just, they're patting him leadoff just so that he gets some freaking pitches. And every time he gets pitches, he makes the most of it. He's actually collecting hits. And the thing is, like, some of these batters aren't even bad. They're just struggling. They're just really not seeing the ball. They're not confident. It's tough. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely discussing some of the more pessimistic aspects of this team at the moment. But we've won 2 games. That's something to be happy about. Judge continues to destroy, which is very, very exciting. Any injury updates and whatnot, we will update you on tomorrow as we get more information. Stanton did get x-rays for a foul ball off his foot. That happened in today's game. That came back negative, so that's a very good sign. There was a little bit of a concern there. That might have been the reason that he was limping around, but that happened the inning before, so kind of interesting. Maybe it just caught him, and it just was a little bit sore. So we'll see about that. We'll update you guys with all the necessary information on this team, as always, my friends. But hope you guys had a fantastic Labor Day. Enjoy the rest of it. Make sure to like and subscribe, as always. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.